Hi there folks, hope you're well. So I am guessing I'm a bit like you to this regard, living with regret, yeah? Regret that I didn't buy Bitcoin when all the Uber drivers and the taxi drivers were telling me to buy Bitcoin. When the school mums and the school dads, they're coming up to me in the playground saying, have you heard of Bitcoin? We should get on to Bitcoin. Of course, I didn't get involved. But I'm no fool. Last week, I invested in some hardware where I can store my digital Bitcoin so it's secure. So Friday evening, piled in with a whole load of cash. Well, not really, bought £1,000 worth of Bitcoin. Monday morning, I'm down 21%. Was this a catastrophic bad investment decision? Was it the worst trade I've ever done in my life? Well, if I'd have got into the trade on Friday evening expecting to make 20% in a week, then I guess it was a bad trade. I could have done better just by going to the casino, putting all my money on red. So was I wrong? Well, for me, absolutely not. Like you, I've also been watching Bitcoin and the crypto blockchain technologies meteoric rise over the years. Since those school mums were in the playground asking me should they buy, I've been regretting every level. 3,000, 10,000, 20,000, 30,000, 40,000. I was really happy to say I told you so when it dropped 50% from the April highs from 60 to 30,000. But the fact of the matter is this. I think that now is the time to buy Bitcoin. I think 20,000 was the time to buy Bitcoin. I think 60,000 the time to buy Bitcoin. And it's most probably the right time to buy Bitcoin at 80,000. So let me throw out the usual disclaimer. This is not investment advice. These are just my opinions and my thoughts. And that's exactly what I want you to do, my followers. Put your own thoughts and use your own analysis. After all, I'm just a bloke from YouTube. And bear in mind, if I'm wrong and Bitcoin and the blockchain technology crashes and burns, do you know how much I'm going to lose? Well, not a dime of any money that I need or even care about. Let me take you back to 1986. Microsoft, remember them? Well, they launched on the stock market with an IPO. Now, at the time, hardly anyone at home had a PC. I remember in the city, we had a big Wang computer about the size of a small car. Did some complex yield calculations on our bonds. Now it's fair to say that most of us have a PC at home or an Apple or something like that. Even if you haven't got one at home, chances are you've got access to one somewhere very near. Now, had you had this vision back in the 80s that this technology was going to take off and invested, say, $5,000 of Microsoft shares at the IPO, today you'd be worth over $10.5 million with all the splits in mind. $1,000, you'd be worth $2.5 million. Just $500, today you'd be a millionaire. But are you now going to make the same type of killing by buying Bitcoin over the next few weeks, months, and even years? Let's have a quick look at the charts and see exactly what Bitcoin has done over the last few years and discuss further. Come on. Okay, so this is basically a life history of the price action of Bitcoin, pretty much since it got the attention of everyone around, basically starting around the 2015. Now what I want you to do is look down the right hand side of the screen. This is basically showing you the price, and as I move my crosshairs across the time axis, you'll see how prices reacted. So basically pretty much 2015, it was trading around the 300-400 level, started to get the attention of some investors, and we had a bit of a move up to 1,000. I think it's fair to say that most retail traders, it was getting the news attention on the evening news. Once we got to about 3,000, this was actually going somewhere. Everywhere you looked, it was all about Bitcoin. The Uber drivers were talking about it, the school mums were talking about it, and indeed, it was looking like a good investment. It was pretty much green candles all the way. This is a weekly chart. It got up to the dizzy heights of about 20,000. My friends were calling me. I was even thinking about getting involved myself. And I'm supposed to be one that doesn't get caught out by these type of things. Didn't know anything about it really at the time. Then we got about 20,000. I was still saying, no, this is not too good to be true. Pop, it dropped 50%. Pretty much as quick as it got up there, we've dropped all the way back down to back to about 3,500 again. Imagine all those housewives, all those Uber drivers, house husbands that have basically lost their entire family savings by getting involved in Bitcoin. They've been bitten once, they're not going to be bitten again. Then obviously people began to be a little bit more aware about blockchain technology, what it was all about. And it wasn't really until about, it was about sort of November 2020. So about this time last year that we broke through the previous high that we're seeing at the end of December. That's when the markets started thinking, hang on, this is going potentially to 100,000. Again, it got those speculators in there. So indeed, from about the 20,000 level, if I get my measuring tool here, about the 20,000 level, it rallied, what was it? It rallied about 250% in a year. Now, not many investments that you can take part in these days will rally 250% in a year. It was about April of this year, pop, it dropped off 50% again, shaking out all those investors that thought they had mastered the markets and they were now traders. They were now a wizard of the markets because they turned out 250% in a year. They weren't laughing when we got back down to 28,000. But then again, the uptrend continued. The technology hadn't changed. In fact, what was happening at the time is that it was becoming more acceptance of the crypto technology. More about that in a moment. So then we rallied from the lows there down at around 30,000 up to the highs a couple of weeks ago, about 130%. Again, really big. That's about 1 month's time to make about 100% of your money. Pretty cool stuff, yeah? Gets anyone's attention. Certainly got my attention as well. But then again, we had that big drop, and over the last last couple of weeks, we've dropped off again another 40%. But the technology hasn't changed. It's becoming more widely accepted as well. Now, are you going to make 250% again in a year when we're seeing Bitcoin now trading around, around the 50,000 level? Well, let's have a look at what 250% would look like on the measurement tool here. So from around this level, 250% gain would take Bitcoin up to, we've even got to scale down again here, up to, what? We've got to keep going again. Up we go again. So 250 would take Bitcoin to 125,000. What about a 500% gain? We've certainly seen 500% gains since all the retail and all the housewives and all the house husbands and all the retail traders were getting involved. What about a 500% gain? Is that going to happen again? A 500% gain from here that's got everyone's attention would see Bitcoin up at 250,000. 250. It's $250,000 per Bitcoin to have a 500% gain. We've seen a 500% gain. We've missed it for now. Will we get there in time? Well, that remains to be seen. But to think you're going to get another 500% gain in the short period that we've seen, well, I think you'll be wishing for something that maybe isn't going to be happening. So that was a quick look at Bitcoin itself, the underlying price, which you can buy from various exchanges, keep them in your digital wallet or keep them on your hardware wallet. But there are other ways that you can trade this explosive crypto market. Now, as you may know, there are alternative coins being issued each and every day. It seems to be endless, the number of coins that are being issued out there. They're called altcoins. And you can trade these altcoins with various brokers, depending, of course, on where you are in the world and your local regulation. So here I've got a broker platform that I look at. It basically offers all the altcoins, and you can trade these in exactly the same way. You just sit down here at my watch window. You've got the obvious ones here, the Bitcoin and so forth. But you've got here ones I hadn't even heard of. Well, I've heard of Solana, of course. But there's altcoins down here that you might not have heard of. You've got Cake down there as well. So you can trade these in exactly the same way. And the beauty of this, of course, is that it is open 7 days a week, and it's open 24 hours a day. For those of you that want to be trading on the weekend, for those of you that aren't able to trade during the week, maybe you're looking at something like this, because at the end of the day, as far as I'm concerned, as a technical analyst, a chart is a chart is a chart. If we're seeing price action hitting up, we're going to see price hitting up on the chart, and you can make your trading decisions on the back of that one. This here, whatever it is, Cake here at the moment, I can see here on my 15-minute chart, we're heading down. We've just gone below the moving averages. Maybe if I was trading this one, I'd be waiting for a pullback into the previous level of consolidation for a trade for trend continuation lower. So you can trade all these altcoins on the CFDs with certain brokers, and I will leave a link in the description tab below, a link to one of the brokers that I know allows CFD trading on these altcoins. Fantastic way to get involved in the crypto market should you wish to. But let's look for a moment at what is actually driving Bitcoin higher. Now, when the creator of Bitcoin set this about, he put a cap on supply. Basically said there will never be more than 21 million coins in existence. And I think we're up to about 18 million at the moment, and the deadline is in 2040. Basically, he's capped supply. Now, anyone that knows anything about economics will know that prices are driven by two factors: supply and demand. Now, if the supply is capped and the demand is there, then prices can only go one way. And we certainly know where prices are going. This is not like a fiat currency, like your normal pound in your pocket, or your yen, or your Swiss franc. Central banks can issue as much supply as they wish. This is finite. Also, it is being accepted around the world, despite what the JP Morgan CEO thinks. Jamie Dimon, he thinks it's all a load of hocus pocus, worthless nonsense.
I personally think that Bitcoin is worthless, but I don't want to be a spokesman for it. I don't care. It makes no difference to me. I don't think you should smoke cigarettes either.
However, JP Morgans have just issued a technology of a coin-based payment system using the blockchain technology. Also, JP Morgans now are allowing access to a number of Bitcoin funds. So there is demand out there, and the demand is not going away. Prices can only go, of course, one way. So for me, I'm putting small amounts of pocket change as an investment into my new toy here. Once a month, buy a small amount and just lock it away. I guess you call that dollar cost averaging. Look, long and short of it is this: Bitcoin is not going away. The technology will only grow in time. What's time, you say? Well, I don't know. I have no idea what Bitcoin will do today. What will be there trading tomorrow, next week, next month. I have no idea. But I know this pretty confidently. My 11-year-old daughter will be talking about Bitcoin and blockchain in her adult life. Maybe she'll retire at 30. Not on my money, it won't be. All my money is going to a rescue home for pugs. So I hope you found the video interesting. Leave a comment below. Let me know if you're investing in Bitcoin. Let me know what your views are as well. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you don't already do so, that bell notification, you know what that does. You can follow us on all the socials. And don't forget, if you want to come and join us in our regular daily live streams in our trading room, you can do so. Head over to forexsignals.com, take out a 7-day free trial, interact with us, engage with us, see what it's all about. You've got everything to gain, and I think, and nothing to lose. If that's not your thing, that is not a problem. I'll see you next week.